Hey, what's going on, guys? Iptesh here. Welcome back to the channel. Now I'm at a different location. I'm at my office location actually. Uh, Things are not yet ready, but it will eventually. And yeah, I wanted to make this video for a long time now. It's about the iQOO 15, and actually it's about iQOO in general. Okay, uh, I wanted to make this video last year when I had the iQOO 13, but I did not. Uh, I should have made it probably towards the end, but I skipped it. Okay, I gave the iQOO 13 some chance, especially that it was getting the new software update, the Origin OS. So I just thought let it slide. The iQOO 13 was also priced quite aggressively at that time, so I let it slide. But with the iQOO 15, the way that it is priced, over 70,000 rupees. This one is the 16500 per gigabyte model, which I purchased for 71,000 rupees with all the discounts and stuff. A good thing is iQOO has also given a 1 year extended warranty, which I really like. So anyways, this thing right now costs 75,000 rupees with all the discounts. So this thing is not cheap at all. It is like extremely expensive. I wouldn't have bought this phone if I wouldn't be making videos. Okay, I wouldn't buy phones like this for personal use. Let me make that clear. But anyways, I wanted to make this video now that the iQOO 15 is basically priced like a OnePlus 15. I mean, iQOO and OnePlus and Realme, they all have the same price right now. It is what it is. But now that it is priced so high, I wanted to talk about the iQOO 15. I wanted to let this particular message out regarding the truth about the iQOO 15 or in iQOO in general. Oh, and if you were wondering about this awesome looking skin on my OnePlus 15, well, this one's by GadgetShieldz. My OnePlus 15 was actually getting real scratches, so I had to get a skin. The print quality here is really sharp, graphics look detailed up close, and most importantly, it adds scratch protection without any extra bulk. So the phone still feels slim and premium in the hand. The fit around the curves, buttons, and camera cutouts is also spot on. Applying it is also quite easy, you just need a little more patience. GadgetShieldz provides detailed step-by-step video guides, so you can just follow along and get a clean result even if it's your first time, because it was my first time. I have also added their display film protector. It protects against everyday scratches and features self-healing technology, so minor dings and nicks can recover on their own over time while keeping touch response and display clarity intact. If you're interested, make sure to check out GadgetShieldz. Links are in the description. Now let's get back to the video. And I'm going to base my opinion and statements from the perspective of a power user. So from the perspective of a power user, the iQOO and the whole lineup of iQOO and iQOO 15, iQOO 13, these phones, they fall short. Let me explain you. Now every brand has their own USPs, okay? They have their own niche. Now before buying the iQOO 13, I had a picture in my mind like what kind of phone iQOO really makes, what kind of audience do they cater to. And based on all the hype on YouTube, the type of image that created in my mind was that iQOO is really meant for those enthusiast power users, right? They always talk about gaming. So the image that was created in my mind was that iQOO is basically the Redmagic of India. Okay, so Redmagic makes those very performance oriented, uncompromised performance oriented phones. Sadly they don't sell in India, but you have seen what those phones are capable of. Okay, they give all the power to the user, let the user decide what they want to do. So similarly, I thought iQOO was of a similar philosophy. But after buying the iQOO 13, I had started developing doubt in my mind after some time, because I remember way back I remember playing Car X Street on the iQOO 13, and it was just, the performance was just very mediocre. Like it would not touch 60 fps, because even though I've seen like phones like the Xiaomi 15 when it launched in China, I was seeing those phones be able to run Car X Street at 60 fps. Yes, they would get pretty hot, but it was able to. But the iQOO 13, like the so-called gaming phone, was not able to. And that's when slowly I started developing some doubt in my mind, like what's going on with the iQOO. And upon comparing, I realized that iQOO devices, I compared the iQOO 13 against the OnePlus 13, the Xiaomi 15, I compared the iQOO Neo 10 against the Poco F7, and now I compared the the iQOO 15 against the OnePlus 15. Okay, And the conclusion I reached was iQOO devices are severely power limited. Okay, they don't allow you to scale that power and reach that peak performance that the chipset can provide. Again, I'm speaking this from the perspective of a power user who buys the devices, who treats the devices like PCs, like smartphones. They are PCs, right? This Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 is like more powerful than my 2018 GTX 1050 Ti gaming laptop. Clearly, CPU is way more powerful. GPU is even more powerful. So obviously, I treat these phones like PCs. I mean, you guys may not, but I'm speaking from the perspective of a power user. And from the perspective of a power user, I came to the realization is that iQOO devices, they are severely power limited. They never allow you to reach that, the peak potential of the SoC. Unlike the Redmagic devices, they allow you to do whatever you wish, right? They allow you to scale that power all the way up. That's not the case with iQOO. It's a polar opposite even compared to a lot of like regular brands which don't even cater to power users. I've compared the iQOO 15 against the OnePlus 15 in a myriad of games, especially like emulation and stuff. You can see that the iQOO 15 basically it is just capped to a certain power limit. Okay, it doesn't go beyond that. It doesn't let you get that peak performance of the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5. I've compared several games. You can check it out. You can see that the iQOO 15 is basically power limited. That's the simple reason. It's not allowing to hit that power limit that the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 can scale towards. Now I know a lot of people will say this is not sustainable and blah blah blah. But again, I'm speaking from the perspective of a power user. You have things like bypass charging. You have got coolers now built into gamepads. Like clearly, the smartphone SoC is like clearly limited by the thermals and the the power delivery on the phones. Okay, some brands like Redmagic is trying to work around that using liquid cooling and stuff, and even consumers like us have access to plenty of phone coolers and gamepads which have built-in coolers for even more convenience. So the point is that it doesn't matter like the question is not about why should you do this, why should you do that. The point is I can do that with the OnePlus, I can't do that with the iQOO. That is simply a disadvantage in my opinion, especially at this price point. I've shown plenty of examples where I've shown that the iQOO is basically power limited, doesn't let you scale to the power. Now you may wonder, then how can iQOO perform so well in benchmarks? Like most people run some benchmarks and they say that iQOO is so powerful, right? Well, when iQOO detects the AnTuTu package and some other packages also, it basically ignores its typical thermal, throttling points. Okay, it ignores its typical thermal throttling system and it lets the system run, towards to its maximum potential. That is why when you run a benchmark like an AnTuTu, the iQOO 13 or iQOO 15 or whatever, any iQOO phone will perform towards the top of its performance category. Like if it's a Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, it'll perform towards the top. If it's an 8s Gen 4, in the case of iQOO Neo 10, it'll perform towards the top. It happens because iQOO has extremely limited the performance in anything that is not whitelisted by the brand. Okay, so in certain whitelisted games and applications and benchmarks, the iQOO devices will perform towards as best as it can, but in other games it is basically hard capped, like the power is limited, like straight up limited. Let me show you something if you don't believe me. I have shown this previously with the iQOO 13 as well, but let me repeat. Okay, so here you can see the GTA 5 running on the iQOO 15, and you can see the performance is pretty poor on the left side, right? On the right side you can see the same game running, same settings, same everything, but you can see in the iQOO 15 itself is performing much better. So how is this possible? Well, on the left side it's the vanilla game hub emulator. On the right side I've modified the emulator to be installed as a AnTuTu package. Basically I've modified the package name. So on the right side, the system, that is the phone, is detecting that AnTuTu is running instead of Game Hub. It's the Game Hub, I know, but it's getting detected as an AnTuTu application, which is why the iQOO 15 has uncapped its performance. Now it is allowing the full performance. This is how iQOO basically cheats in benchmark. I would call it cheating, even though other brands also do it. I would call it cheating in the case of iQOO, because as you can see, the difference in performance is drastic. This doesn't happen in case of OnePlus. Even the OnePlus also has this kinds of mechanism. In the case of OnePlus, you don't need to modify an application package to be detected as a benchmark to perform well. Okay, if you remember, with the OnePlus 15, the 3D Mark Wildlife Extreme Stress Test was getting failing because it was overheating, and a lot of YouTubers were making noise about it, even though they are just misinterpreting the situation. It's just that OnePlus is trying to prevent throttling as much as possible. In the process, it's just getting overheating and it's just closing the application. So what did OnePlus do? They nerfed the performance of the OnePlus 15 only in the 3D Mark application. So once the device detects that 3D Mark is running, it would just lower its performance. So that way what would happen is that YouTubers will not make noise, the phone will not overheat, and then the YouTubers will be satisfied and they will say that, hey, the device is no longer overheating. But OnePlus did not ruin the performance in general. Okay, if something else you are running, it would again go back to its full performance. So this is different in the case of iQOO. iQOO will only perform in this benchmark, but it will not perform like like if it's not the benchmark. So the whitelisting benchmark cheating is very severe in the case of iQOO. That's not the case with OnePlus and Xiaomi. At least what I felt. Although I think the Xiaomi 17 series is power limited because of all the backlash with the Xiaomi 15 series. But anyways, at least OnePlus is not doing the same. So here you can see, right, the one side you have got the Game Hub application running. On the other side, you've got the Game Hub application installed as N22 package, and you can see how the phone behaves when it detects the device is running N22. And that is a problem. Like, I know that there are other brands, even OnePlus has that kind of whitelisting. But the good thing about the OnePlus is, even if something is not whitelisted, it still runs at its peak performance. Like, I have shown multiple examples where the OnePlus 15 is easily outperforming the iQOO 15, even though I'm not using specific whitelisted packages and all that stuff. It still does it. But on the iQOO, it would just straight up it is done. The same case happens when I compared the iQOO Neo 10 with the Poco F7. I've shown several examples where the Poco F7 is easily outperforming the iQOO Neo 10. It's just the way iQOO like runs its thermal throttling system. It is severely based on certain packages. Okay, so that's why iQOO does run some games really well, and in other games it is just a lottery. You don't know, a random game comes out and you want to play it, and you find that it doesn't run as well as it can. So this is something which I do not appreciate for a brand which is seemingly targeting the power users. Okay, it's all about gaming. But at the end of the day, even like my small Xiaomi 15 could outperform the iQOO 13. Okay, yeah, it would get hot, but that's not the point. There are ways to work around that heat. But putting severe power limits is just not going to, it is not a good experience. Like, these are high-end smartphones. Like, these costs a lot. They have so much power in them, but you are just severely just capping that power and not allowing, the power users to access that. What's even more frustrating is that you can't really customize much, right? So iQOO 15, iQOO Neo 10, the iQOO 13. If you don't like something, you are just stuck with it. You have no option. You can't unlock the bootloader. You can't root the device. Like, for example, this behavior, right? Like, random games just won't perform out of the blue. A game will come and it won't let you hit that peak performance of Snapdragon 8 Gen 5, let's say. But you can't tweak that because there is this bunch of limitations. You can't unlock the bootloader. You can't alter those system files and make it perform in general. You can't unlock the bootloader. You can't root it. You can't flash custom ROMs. Like, you could install, let's say, a custom ROM which is developed for performance, like based on AOSP, but you can't do that on the iQOO. You can do it on the OnePlus for now, and you can also do it on the Xiaomi phones. Although again, things are becoming more and more difficult, but at least you can still do that on the iQOO. There is no such chance. So yeah, that's all I want to talk about the iQOO 15, guys. I mean, great phone. It's just that it is software limit. Like, it's just limited by the software. I'm not saying the software is bad or anything. I'm just talking about the way the phone behaves in like power user situations, performance situations. If it's just limited by the software that you can't tweak, can't modify. So in my opinion, guys, if you are someone who had the same perspective as me, you thought iQOO was like a no compromise performance oriented phone like Redmagic and all, it is really not. This is just a normal phone. It is severely power limited. It will just perform in those games which are within the power band which is allowed by the iQOO, and otherwise you are just limited in performance. So that's it for this video, guys. More videos to come. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. Turn on notifications. Take care, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.